Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We've got some compelling updates coming out of the Cowboys camp that give us a deeper insight into how this team is gelling in the off-season and where it's headed as we approach training camp. One of the key elements that's standing out right now is the importance of CeeDee Lamb's presence at this stage in the process. Last year, Lamb wasn't around during key periods of the off-season due to contract negotiations, and while everyone respected his position and business decisions, his absence left a noticeable void. The difference this year is massive. Having CeeDee present this time around has allowed the entire offense to function on a different level. The reps they're getting together, the communication on the field, and the clarity of understanding each other's timing, routes, and responsibilities, those are the subtle details that become game-changing during crunch time in the regular season. It's hard to put into words the impact of having your WR1 working side by side with the quarterback in these key off-season moments. Speaking of quarterbacks, the chemistry between Dak Prescott and George Pickens is developing quickly and impressively. Pickens, a new addition to the roster, brings an energy and dynamic playmaking ability that is already making waves within the Cowboys facility. The trust that's growing between Dak and Pickens is something that doesn't happen overnight, but these two have seemed to build it at a rapid pace. Dak has made it clear that he's impressed not just with what Pickens can do on the field, but also with who he is off of it. Despite some of the noise surrounding Pickens coming out of Pittsburgh, Prescott didn't let the opinions of outsiders color his perception. Instead, he chose to get to know the man himself, and what he's found is a passionate football player who loves the game, values his teammates, shows up early, and puts in the work. That kind of commitment is infectious in a locker room. Now, with Pickens joining CeeDee, Jake Ferguson, and a promising group of young receivers, Dak is poised to have one of the most versatile groups he's worked with in years. And that leads us into something else that Dak emphasized: the importance of the off-season trip he takes with the skilled players. That annual trip isn't just about running drills, it's a crucial piece of the chemistry puzzle. It's about catching passes from the guy who's going to be throwing them in the game, building camaraderie off the field, and creating bonds that translate into trust on Sundays. This year, that trip takes on added significance. With CeeDee present and Pickens still new to the fold, this weekend getaway becomes a vital checkpoint in syncing up before the grind of training camp begins. Another topic that has Cowboys fans buzzing is the evolution of the offense under Brian Schottenheimer. As the team wraps up this phase of the offseason program, we're starting to get a clearer picture of what this offense might look like under Schotty's leadership. Dak made it clear that this is going to be an aggressive, run-first attack designed to create mismatches and open up opportunities through play action. For Dak, that's music to his ears. He's long excelled in play-action situations, and when the run game is clicking, it allows him to attack downfield and create those explosive plays that can shift the momentum of a game. One thing that stands out in the new offense is an increased emphasis on pre-snap motion. While it's not a new concept for the Cowboys, the way they're utilizing it now feels more intentional and situationally aware. Dak pointed out that the goal is not to just run motion for the sake of it, but to use it to identify defensive tendencies and make adjustments based on those tells. He also noted how locked in the receivers have been to this concept, especially the way they're communicating what they're seeing as they move through their motions. That level of engagement is exactly what you want to see from a group that's evolving with the playbook. The running back room also deserves a shout-out. With names like Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue coming into the mix, this is a group that's not only deep but highly motivated. Their running backs coach has done a phenomenal job preparing them, and veterans like Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Luepke are setting a strong tone. Each of these backs brings something unique to the table: Javonte with his physicality, Sanders with his shiftiness, and Blue with a blend of both. There's no need to reinvent the wheel here. These guys are pros, and they're embracing the challenge of contributing to a run-first offense. When Dak was asked about how fast his 10 years in the NFL have gone by, he was quick to acknowledge how quickly time flies. But more importantly, he emphasized how grateful he feels for every opportunity to suit up, walk into the building, and be a part of this organization. That humility and appreciation have become the backbone of his leadership. He knows how fleeting a season can be. He's dealt with injuries, setbacks, and the pressure of high expectations. And through it all, he remains focused on staying present and making the most of every moment he has with his teammates. Going into this year's training camp, there's a quiet confidence in the building. Dak pointed out that the experience and communication have been on point not just between players but also with the coaches, especially Schottenheimer and the quarterbacks. Everyone seems to be dialed in. The sense of urgency is there, but it's paired with a belief in the process and the plan that's been laid out. Dak says he's healthy and feeling great, which is a big deal considering how last season ended. And with the team using this little break before training camp as a ramp-up rather than a cool-down, that momentum should carry over. Another interesting development this offseason is the growth of some young offensive linemen. Dak specifically mentioned Tyler Guyton and Tyler Booker as two players who have made major strides. Booker's progress has been noticeable since he arrived, and now Guyton is showing signs of a breakout year ahead. From their mental approach to the physical preparation and the way they're attacking practices, Dak believes these guys are on the cusp of something special. That bodes well for a team that's looking to protect its quarterback and open up lanes for that stable of running backs. When it comes to the tight ends, Dak had nothing but praise for Jake Ferguson. Despite a down year statistically last season, he went the entire year without a touchdown. Dak made it clear that the trust between them is growing rapidly. Ferguson is not only hungry to improve but also dedicated to refining every detail of his game. He's asking the right questions, pushing himself in the film room, and emerging as a true enforcer in this offense. Dak even mentioned that had he finished the season healthy, Ferguson likely wouldn't have gone touchdown-less, which speaks volumes about how involved he plans to be in the red zone attack this year. Legacy is another topic that inevitably comes up as a player enters his second decade in the league, especially for a quarterback leading America's team. For Dak, the answer was as heartfelt as it was focused. He wants to win a championship. Full stop. Not for the sake of his own legacy or media praise, but for the team, for his personal sanity, and for everyone who has been grinding alongside him year after year. He knows that winning a Super Bowl with the Cowboys would mean everything, and he's not going to let anything distract him from that singular goal. As far as how good this offense can be, Dak says it all starts with the personnel changes the team made not just on offense but on defense too. The addition of Pickens opens up things for the rest of the receiving core. Guys like Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Tolbert now have room to develop and make an impact without the overwhelming pressure of being WR2 right out of the gate. That creates a more balanced and dangerous offense overall. And once the scheme catches up to the talent on the field, we could be looking at an explosive unit that puts a ton of stress on opposing defenses. There's also a new sense of leadership coming from head coach Mike Zimmer. Though it's his first time in the top job with this team, Zimmer's decades of experience as an assistant have clearly prepared him for this moment. Dak said it best: Zimmer doesn't feel like a first-time head coach. He's already doing an exceptional job of setting the tone and earning the trust of the locker room. That's the kind of leadership that can help guide this team through the inevitable ups and downs of an NFL season. Another thing Dak will be carrying into the season is the momentum he's built this offseason. Starting early, staying healthy, and maintaining consistency across mini camps and OTAs has allowed him to establish a strong foundation not just for himself but for the entire offense. He wants to ensure that this momentum continues, especially among the younger players who might not yet understand how critical this time of year really is. Dak's focus is on making sure everyone hits the ground running when they return in July. Outside of football, the changes in Dak's life are just as impactful. With a growing family and the responsibilities of fatherhood, Dak says his perspective has deepened. The balance of being an elite NFL quarterback while also being a present and loving father is something he's embracing fully. He speaks often about gratitude for his kids, his fiancée, his health, and the chance to play this game at the highest level. It's clear that his personal life is fueling his professional fire in all the right ways. And speaking of maturity and professionalism, one of the other standout stories of this offseason is how Micah Parsons has handled his situation. In a year where some of the league's premier edge rushers are either unsigned or skipping out on team activities, Parsons has chosen a different route. He's shown up. He's put in the work. And while every contract situation is different and deserves respect, Dak made it clear that Parsons is going about his business the right way. The belief within the organization is strong that a deal will get done, and the focus remains on getting better every single day. So as we sit here heading into the final stretch before training camp, there's a lot to be excited about in Dallas. From the presence of CeeDee Lamb and the instant chemistry with George Pickens, to a revamped run game and offensive line, to young players stepping up and veterans setting the tone, everything is trending in the right direction. And when your quarterback is not only healthy and focused but also playing with renewed purpose and gratitude, that's a formula for something special. The Cowboys aren't just going through the motions this offseason. They're building something. And if they can carry this momentum into training camp and beyond, don't be surprised if this team starts turning heads come September. So stay tuned, because this is going to be a season to remember.